I've been thinking we should try to make you squirt. Erin always managed to turn the conversation back to either sex or drinking. Squirting is all the rage in porn these days, she added. Squirting by way of G-spot orgasm had never been at the top of my list of priorities. Maybe it was the name that turned me off. Grafenberg spot is just not that sexy. It sounded like something I slept through in 8th grade lab science. Even though I'd heard that G-spot orgasms were tremendous, I was happy with my clitoral orgasms. After all, if something ain't broken, don't try to fix it. I also wondered if the idea that squirting G-spot orgasms are earth-shattering was part of the man's plan to make women feel inadequate. One of the great things about being a woman is never clicking on spam emails for products that promise to help you shoot loads across the room. However, I was not willing to rule it out of my sexual repertoire. A possible bonus: if I were able to find some chemically sensitive paper, I could incorporate squirting into my visual art and revive the action painting movement. Though Erin was not a squirter, she'd just stolen a copy of She Comes First from the publishing company where she worked. In addition, she sent me a resume detailing her qualifications as a squirting partner, which consisted of having a tongue and at least 10 fingers. Skills and work experience included using toys, not crying during sex, and always paying the rent. Several references were listed, including Janet Reno and the entire roster of the St. Thomas College field hockey team. In summation, she wrote, "I will not give up till we make you a fountain. I will even take it right in the eye. That is how important this is to me." Erin and I scheduled our lab for the following week. Because I have a compact vagina and long fingers, I knew where my G-spot was and had petted it many times. But figuring out how to make this petting propel a volcanic reaction would take at least a week's worth of research. "You've got to do Kegels," my friend Michelle advised. "Oh man, I hate working out, even if it's only my vagina." I know I should do Kegels every day. I also know I should eat spinach, exercise, and remove my eyeliner before bed. But that doesn't mean I do. Reluctantly, I'm doing them right now, actually, because I have to pee. Reluctantly, I began doing Kegels at work, at the bar, on the subway, while watching TV. It was a little like not exercising for 10 years and then cramming for a triathlon with only a week to go. Many of my male friends were eager to discover what techniques could lead to female ejaculation. My friend George Googled squirting and discovered that porn actor and producer Seymour Butts had made a DVD entitled Seymour Butts Female Ejaculation, A Complete Guide. The absurd yet academic title appealed to me. However, I imagined that entering a porn store and requesting such a ridiculous title would be mortifying. To lessen the embarrassment, I brought along my friends Amy and Georgia. Our first stop was sex superstore Babeland, where I didn't find the DVD, but I did acquire a Nubby G vibrator, which is said to stimulate not only the G-spot, but the clit and anus as well. According to Babeland employees, this oafish vibrator helped someone they knew ejaculate for the first time. Along with my Nubby G, I picked up a copy of the DVD, How to Female Ejaculate. According to the cover, it was the classic 10,000 copies sold. That's a lot more copies than this book ever sold. Okay, from there we headed up to Times Square, where I sheepishly wondered, okay, so it's a long chapter. I'm gonna skip around. Later that night, Bruce and I viewed How to Female Ejaculate. That's my buddy who's in a lot of the chapters. The DVD opens with host Deborah Sundahl discussing female anatomy. Judging from Deborah's shoulder-padded purple blazer and the nagel prints behind her, I gathered that the film was shot in the mid-'80s. As for the G-spot, Deborah proclaimed, "If it were any closer, it might bite you." She then went on to display her own G-spot by turning a speculum on its side. "It looks a little like a snail," I marveled. Soon a trio of Deborah's squirter friends joined her. Look, 2 of them are wearing hats, Bruce observed. Maybe that has something to do with it. The squirters proceeded to discuss their first ejaculation experiences and the consistency of their ejaculate. What it felt, smelled, and even tasted like. Let's get to the squirting, I cried. It's made by women, so of course they have to talk about it a lot before they do it, Bruce nodded. We were forced to eat or condescending words when the women suddenly began to squirt. Bruce literally jumped out of his seat as a lanky brunette in crotchless Calvin Klein panties, suspenders, and requisite hat shot enough clear fluid to drown a small mammal. That's amazing. How cool would it be to jizz on a man's face, I pronounced, inspired. The following day, I picked up my Seymour Butts video, which they'd ordered for me in Times Square, popped it in the DVD player, and awaited instruction, nubby G in hand. Astroglide side. Okay, ta-ta-ta-ta, Seymour Butts is cute. The film began with Seymour standing in the rain, getting drenched, then shaking out his lovely ringlets, and promising to teach viewers everything they want to know about female ejaculation, yada, yada, yada. From then on, the Butts residence was a washing activity. It was like he was a latter-day Mr. Rogers. His telephone and doorbell were constantly ringing. Only in this land of make-believe it wasn't Mr. McPhilia the Durbatina, a blonde with basketball boobs who wound up engaging in coitus with another visitor to the Butts home. In one scene, a pantsless brunette strolled through the Butts living room to retrieve her trousers from the laundry room. Shockingly, she never made it to the laundry room, but instead lost her top, her bra, and about a half-gallon of she jizz. Amid the unbelievable scenarios, viewers were treated to tips on squirting. They box on Tybo buddies, because this is really, you gotta have strong forearms. Okay. There's a lot more. Female Ejaculation, a complete guide, is one of the loudest pornographic videos I've ever viewed. Inordinate amounts of wailing and moaning accompanied each squirting episode. After viewing the first 2 hours of footage, I wandered into my kitchen and realized my new next-door neighbors were having a fancy rooftop cocktail party. While all my windows were wide open. Horrified, I ventured back into my bedroom, turned down the volume, and decided to do a little exploring. Splaying my legs, I fiddled with the G-spot. Okay, nothing happens. Frustrated, I called Faceboy. Knowing he had experience with squirters, I thought he could give me advice. Face, I've been rubbing my G-spot for an hour, I said. I feel like I'm ready to squirt, but can't. Well, what kind of sensations are you having, he asked. I feel the G-spot swell up and get hard, and it feels like I have to pee. Well, you know how when you pee, just let go? That's what you have to do, just let go. What if I pee? You won't, but if you're really worried, try not drinking beer beforehand. Sexual activity without beer? That's not gonna happen. Also, I have to pee all the time anyway. I go through 90% of my life having to pee, and the other 10% looking for places to pee. So I live in constant fear of pissing myself, but Facebook was right. So I called Erin. Erin, I'm worried I might pee on you, I told my lab partner when she arrived at my apartment carrying her hot copy of She Comes First. I really wouldn't care, she assured me, and I've been doing serious research. You're not going to pee on me. We're going to make this happen. It could take a long time, if it takes all night. Like a junior scientist who had just discovered the explosive qualities of baking soda and vinegar, Erin excitedly shared her findings. Opening the pages of She Comes First, she pointed to a line drawing of the urethral sponge and began explaining what happens when it fills with ejaculate. What are those squiggly lines, I asked, confused by the abstract expressionist nature of the image. I think those are supposed to be pubes. Why did he have to draw in the pubes? Because that's the moon's pubis. Yeah, but still, it seems a little detail-oriented. Maybe the guy digs pubes. Erin put the book down and we went into my boudoir, where I put on the How to Female Ejaculate, and forwarded to the ejaculation. You know, they don't really tell you how to do it in this video, Erin said. I know. It's like they're showing off. So then we put on the Seymour Butts Butts DVD. I'm really intimidated, I said, watching the fountains of clear liquid pouring forth. Don't be intimidated. They're important because they can do that. That's why they get the big bucks. I don't think I can do it. You can do it. Turn it off and get naked. I stripped and lay some towels down on the bed, thrilled that, like my male counterparts, I now had a jizz rag. Do you want to get naked too? I asked Aaron, who still wore jeans and a t-shirt. No, this is all about you. I'm just here to facilitate. It does feel a little technical, though. Yeah, it's like we're about to do surgery. Some mood lighting and incense remedied the situation. I repositioned myself on the bed, and Aaron poured a heavy coat of lube over my pudenda. Slowly, she spread the lube around and inserted a finger. Luckily, she had short nails. Do you feel my G-spot? I asked excitedly. It feels like a rough sponge, almost like a loofah. Hold on, we're not there yet, she said, teasing me with her fingers and tongue until lube became superfluous. She slid 2 fingers inside me, making the sign of Satan, as she began to apply pressure to my G-spot. She worked her fingers in and out softly at first and then hard at fast. Noises escaped my mouth not unlike those of a seal. It must have looked and sounded like Aaron was beating the shit out of me because JJ, my chihuahua, darted in the bedroom and started going nuts. I can't squirt with this commotion, I sighed, rising from the bed and relegating JJ to the kitchen. Okay, back to work, I stated, reclining back on the bed. Aaron reinserted her fingers, rolling them over the ridge of my sweet spot and settling onto a repetitive motion whereby she pressed down on the G. Minutes passed, and with each minute, my apparent urge to pee grew stronger. My PC muscles contracted around her fingers, but she wouldn't stop. Oh, my God, stop! It's killing me! I screamed, please stop! Really? No. I begged her to stop several times and then begged her to keep going several times, all while grunting, moaning, and sweating. I tried to let go as I'd been instructed to do, but nothing happened. I pressed down like I was draining my kitty and nothing happened. Aaron's face was inches from my crotch. She wore a look of pain, determination. If you remember the scene in Alien where John Hurt's stomach bursts open and he gives birth to alien spawn, you have some idea what my face looked like. Usually when I build up to orgasm, I'm entertaining dirty thoughts, but I was entertaining no thoughts whatsoever. No, lie back down, Aaron commanded. I lay back down and lifted my legs up in what must have been a really unflattering move, and then, much to my surprise, I squirted. Yeah, thank you. The feeling that I had to pee was gone, yet I hadn't peed, I had come instead. I stared down at my vagina, amazed. Oh my God, you did it, Aaron screamed. We hugged and rolled around on the bed together like we just won the lottery. As we collected ourselves, I immediately began asking questions regarding the aesthetic of my squirt. Because we weren't underwater, I knew it hadn't been as impressive as the ejaculations I watched on screen. Still, I was a little disappointed when Aaron referred to my ejaculation as cute. It sprayed out about 4 inches. It was like a little fountain, she informed me. Did it get in your hair, I asked? No, it didn't get that far. Disappointed by my lack of distance and aim, we tried a few times. Unable to muster further ejaculations, we gave up and went to a nearby bar where we discussed our G-spot ad nauseum. What fascinates me most about the G-spot, almost a couple more sentences, is how big it is when it gets aroused, like a sponge that expands when it fills with liquid. I know it's not a sexy adjective, but the G-spot is really neat. And I was proud of my cum shot. I spent the following day boasting to friends that I'd squirted. Was it fun, Tom asked. It was fun, but it was a lot of pressure. I didn't want to disappoint. Now you know how we feel, he said.